Hello there, and welcome to Thank the Maker, a podcast about heroes, princesses, scoundrels, hokey religions, ancient weapons, and all things Star Wars. My name is Adam Russell.
I'm Nick Gambarian.
And I'm SM33. And if the YouTube gets 20 likes, I'll do the whole episode in this here voice.
This
I'm just
guy.
kidding.
What voices
I
can't you do?
S-M-I-K-E space F-O-R-E-S-T-E-R-8-7.
Mike 33. It's Mike Forrester. I can't do that or else I will be gravelly for the rest of the week, which is fine as we're coming off this holiday break. Gentlemen, how was your time and your New Year's? Was it spent lovingly, softly, casually? What did you do?
All the above.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I didn't do a damn thing
Same.
on purpose.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
same.
great.
Jill and I went to very little family gathering. We put in time that we felt was appropriate and that made us happy with families.
Right.
My side of the family, her side of the family for Christmas. And then New Year's, we just stayed at home with the dogs and got a little bit drunk and barely stayed up past midnight. And it was a hoot.
And got a new episode of Skeleton Crew. I had
That was
someone,
great.
I had a college student apparently looking for a girlfriend that used to live in my apartment. Come home at 3 a.m. looking for said girlfriend. So that was kind of fun. A nice little New Year's surprise to ring in. Nothing like telling an inebriated 23-year-old, she gone at 3 a.m.
Amazing.
So yeah, it was great. It was really good. I was like, do you want to watch Skeleton Crew with me though? I'm about to rewatch. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, I think I was in bed. It was literally like, all right, it's midnight. We were on the couch and it was like, all right, you want to go to bed now?
Yeah.
That was
That's it.
worthless. But yeah, same. Had like 2 drinks the entire night, like from 6 p.m. to midnight, 2 adult beverages, and watched When Harry Met Sally and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Those are the 2 New Year's movies we watched.
Nice.
Not that they were New Year's movies. When Harry Met Sally has some New Year's scenes, and I guess Everything Everywhere All at Once has a Chinese New Year's scene. I don't know if that doesn't really count though. But yeah, it was chill.
It's New Year's somewhere.
The 2024 holiday season, I was impervious to all spirit. I had no spirit this entire holiday season. Like
Spiritless.
I just could not find it this year.
Spiritless away. So, but now, because we got one of the best episodes of Skeleton Crew yet, now you're fully spirited. You're fully ready. You're back. We have 2 episodes left of the show. I'm actually getting concerned that we haven't heard anything about season 2 because I feel like I don't know what else we need to see that the show is a smashing success, other than it's struggling to find viewers, because I think it's also why at what time it came out, the fact that we've had a Christmas Eve episode and a New Year's Eve episode, it's difficult.
Yeah. We talked about this. You have to wonder why they let it fall on these dates it seems like they've changed the day that shows go up and the time half a dozen times now. Why wouldn't they do it
premiered on
again?
a Monday, right? And it's weird.
Yeah.
Moving around.
So did they just feel so strongly about this series and figuring there are a lot of kid viewers that aren't necessarily watching it prime time on Tuesday, whatever, like screw it, just let it be a holidays thing? Kids are at home anyway.
It
hasn't really affected like our, like we're watching it,
Right.
So I don't know. I wonder, I would be curious to see like if what is doing well, like non-Disney, just whatever, Netflix, Hulu, like what is doing well, if even those numbers are just lower in general.
Yeah.
Right.
If just viewership across everything is down, I would almost, I feel like it is,
I read an interesting article actually talking about what's considered streaming fatigue, because I think at some point over the last year, especially as the cost, there is no streaming service that has gotten ever cheaper. I recently just had to get a new iPhone after I dropped mine from the Ornament Project, smashed in the street. So I had to get a new phone finally. And I was shocked at how much I'm like, so I can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and apparently HBO Max for the low price of $40 a month. And I was like, this is just cable. This is just cable again. But most importantly, I think I read an interesting article. I'll share this in the Discord. That streaming fatigue, if they're calling it that, is here. In that regards of going, people are just saying, I don't have this month. I'm canceling more than I've ever. People aren't just having a blanket subscription to all these things. They're being very choosy about going, I will wait until season 2 of this comes out. I'll pick it back up. And honestly, I understand if you're not a Marvel fan, if you're a Star Wars, if you're a Star Wars fan, there is about to be a void for 2 solid months, right? So I know that, of course, the Disney brass is wants you to. They've made a calculated decision to go. If you watch Star Wars, you probably watch Marvel too. I think the next one up for them, I'm assuming we'll probably start seeing the marketing for it. I think it's Daredevil, isn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I just realized that I'm a full season. I completely missed season 2 of Marvel What If. Like, that's how behind and that was, I don't know.
I don't even think I made it. I made it 2 episodes into Loki season 2, which I heard was great, and just have lost interest in everything. It's fatigue, but it's not necessarily like, I think it's just general malaise, like sure. It's like, there's no way, like, I think there's just like a societal malaise going on right now. Like sure. There's no way that all of these things are, it's not a coincidence, is right. I guess what I'm saying, like, personally speaking, the things that normally make me happy aren't making me as happy these days, so it's just like, yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one.
It's also so overwhelming. There's too much content, and the fact that we're now all casually using the word content when it's really like artwork that shit tons of people put their heart and soul into, but there's just so much of it. You literally can't keep up with it and have other things in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it all slows down a bit. I don't think that's a bad thing. We obviously want nonstop Star Wars all the time, but overall, if content production slows down, maybe that's good.
Right.
Maybe one day Netflix will stop dropping entire seasons all at once.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently too. Like, just the man hours like that go behind creating something like that needs to be less disposable. Like they have to stop doing that. It's just not the ratio of time to create something and time to consume it is like, that can't just, it has to be throttled, like right. We can't just, it's so bad. We've done it for like a decade at this point, and it's just so bad.
And they never come back to it either, which is kind of the crazy part. Like,
totally.
I think of how much Netflix put into the original Daredevil series, and that was like literally one of their crown jewels. It was so good that Disney kept most of it. You know what I mean? They didn't reboot it. And it was truly like a next level comic book show before, I think the takeover happened. But most importantly, I'm with you on that. I think at some point, the idea that people are just going to every month go, this is my new favorite thing. This is my new favorite thing. This is my new favorite thing. I think we're just at a point where it's like, it's too hard to keep up. And I think in a lot of ways, Skeleton Crew, and I don't know if Skeleton Crew is on getting the unfortunate backlash of that, right? Like, I almost think if Skeleton Crew would have been 3 years ago, would this have cut back on some of the discord online versus having people, give enough people time to say, I didn't like Book of Boba Fett, I didn't think Obi-Wan Kenobi was whatever, getting those people back on. And another thing that I'm seeing too, I asked a couple of people, I'm like, did you watch Skeleton Crew? I've been like telling people, watch Skeleton Crew, it's so fun. And I heard from multiple people, I'll wait until they're all out so that I can binge it. And I'm actually kind of jealous of that.
Yeah.
Because I would love to just power through this series and see it more like a movie than have to wait a week in between. Looking back at how awesome this series is.
Yeah, this is the first one that I have gone back and really rewatched just casually for fun. Like, what do I put on before I go to bed? oh, let's do Skeleton Crew again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So it's great, but it's a weird time. We love it. So let's talk about it. Let's get into this discussion and do Stolen Plans. Nick, what do you think?
Yes, I'm ready. I wasn't ready, and now I'm ready.
Let's do it.
What have you done with those plans?
Season 1, Episode 6 of Skeleton Crew, called Zero Friends Again, debuted today. Whatever day this is, January, or not today. What day is today?
Actually, 2 days ago, Nick.
Time is an illusion.
December 31st.
Decembuary.
Runtime was 33 minutes. The Disney Plus description: words written by Disney intern named Mark. Wow, this is great. I guess I didn't do that part, huh? This is a disaster.
You enjoyed my filler, though.
This is a disaster. I don't have the Disney Plus description. All right. The parts that I did put in Stolen Plans, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who we know from directing episodes of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. Written by Myung Jo Wessner. She has a short list of writing credits, which I think is very interesting. They have nothing to do with sci-fi. So the only writing credits that she has are TV series that are both on Hulu called High Potential and another one called Death and Other Details. So I really wonder what the story is there. Yeah. So no sci-fi, no Lucasfilm, no nothing, just other Hulu streaming shows, which is kind of crazy. And I thought it was great. So good for her. There weren't really any major guest stars. I know that we've kind of shout out these actors already, but why not shout out Jaleel White as Gunter, who, of course, played Steve Urkel and also Stefan Urkel on Family Matters. 2 roles.
Yeah, Stefan.
And got some lines in this episode. Good for him.
Yes, finally. So it's a good time to mention him. And then playing Vane was Marty Matterless, who we first saw in season 3 of Mando. And then he had a bunch of smaller roles. He was in Star Trek Picard. What else? The new Christmas movie called Red One with Rock. And he was also in Westworld. So good for him. Yeah.
Did we talk about this when he was on Mando? Who is he in Star Trek and Westworld?
I don't have the character names. They were very, very minor, like almost.
He does a lot of character, like character work, like magics and stuff like that. And 2 to add, thanks to Jason for posting this up. Relationships fray under the pressures of a difficult journey is the official Mark the Intern D+ description.
There we go.
And I would say certainly it has been a difficult journey, and the relationships are under pressure.
Under pressure.
Pressure. Pushing down on me. Yep, we got it.
Oh, this dude does some really gnarly characters in costumes and makeup all the time.
Let's get him on the pod. Let's talk about this after we're done.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, holler at him. I'm just really captivated by his photos on IMDb. This is great. Okay, I know this face. Yes, okay, sweet. Yeah, he's rad. He's great. So this episode, as usual, we heard some people talking shit about it. It being, kind of a, light on action and content. I don't know what they were watching, but there was a heavy focus on character relationships. We spent a lot of time just sitting there in like near silence with KB and Wim when he was trying to reboot her, fix her thing, whatever. But overall, I feel like this was like a crucial turning point where we finally see all the kids settle into their roles and kind of like step up and support each other. That, they have conflict, but then they come back together. And when they do, it's very much like what you would hope would be the outcome of Jod forcing them into their roles in the ship. They just settle right into it. Mm-hmm. Wim goes straight for the guns. Neil gets behind the wheel. Everyone kind of steps up, and it like choked me up at how united and just on their shit these kids were together as a team, thinking about the future that we could see them grow into.
Yeah.
in Star Wars. It was so exciting to me. I got legitimately emotional watching those parts of the episodes. What did you guys think overall about
Well,
the balance of things?
I loved the character development, especially with KB, because that's kind of the one character we haven't got too much from. I do want to just comment, too, that if this was a movie, this is the trope of the group of friends or crew or whatever fighting each other and splitting off and then getting back together. That all happened in this one episode.
Right.
So, and it's towards the end of the movie. There's 2 episodes left. So the timing of this, we probably should have guessed this on a bingo card. Been like, the
Right.
gang split up.
The gang splits up.
towards
Yeah.
3/4 of the way through the season. But it's great. I think everyone's showing more courage and being more honest with each other. That I really appreciated. Just even the way like Neil is able to talk to Fern about like, I can't do the things you do. That sort of thing. Which is great.
He was like your spider leg. I don't have spider
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah.
The spider leg.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think what was really refreshing about this episode is that it is based in the grounding reality of where Star Wars, we lovingly let Star Wars continue to go, right? The same reason that I think there's a deep appreciation for a series like Andor is because it's just people fighting the fight, right? The concept of the kids, none of them being force sensitive. KB has this AUG that allows her to be able to do more mathematical equations or calculations. She's able to see things. Comes at a cost too, right? She's not as she's not as free as Fern is, right? Or she doesn't have Wim having his fear of missing his parents, the attachments, as Jod was saying, and Neil's heart kind of being his own fault, right? What I think is really awesome about this group, what we saw in this episode, was that the kids all recognize that they need each other. And oftentimes in Star Wars, we tend to look at powerful force users as being the saviors, right? Lightsabers, the force, for powerful force users. Those are the ones that we think of as heroes. But what these kids all kind of found out in this moment was that all 4 of them are their own heroes in their own way. And that's a really beautiful Star Wars moment. And the same reason that people like Andor for that sense is that it doesn't take much if people are just willing to stick together. And I think it's really cool. And I think, of course, in our Discord, a lot of people really vibing with KB in the sense of going, either it's about actual physical limitations or just the fact that like a lot of people were saying like KB has kind of a little bit represented some of the neurodiverse community, possibly someone that is on the spectrum. Was there something about the accident that made her do this? For as a parent myself, you're looking at kids and going like, I want my kid to be like every other kid, but I also appreciate how she's different. We're looking at this show about kids and going like, kids are all supposed to be different, and when they come together, that's how they make a team, which I think is really great. So all in all, this was a fantastic episode, again, for character, and we also got a ton of great action too. So I'm like, I don't know why people are upset about this episode in any way.
Yeah, I made the mistake of looking at comments, but everything was fine until I was at the damn
2025. Give it up.
I know
doing
it was a
Give
Star
it
Wars
up.
The comments are in 2024 though. The comments are in 2024.
Even behind.
Yeah, I need to stay away. I won't talk about anything negative right now. The AUG thing, let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
So malfunctioning from corrosion, this was alluded to the prior episode.
But even further back when her parents were like, she needs medical attention.
Right. So is anyone else getting in YouTube suggested things or in Instagram Reels? I'm not really on TikTok, so maybe it's there too. Suggested crap that is just like, they call it process porn. where someone's they're making something, and the thumbnail's like, "Ooh, I gotta watch what they're making there." It's like, "What's this weird contraption?" It's like life hacks, and a lot of times it's just crap. But then sometimes it's like somebody has pliers with a piece of old jewelry in it, and then you watch them like make a mold in sand and melt it and pour it in, and it happens. Have you guys seen this on social media?
No, this is your feed, man.
Not really. No.
I'm
seeing this-
getting a look into your feed right now.
I'm seeing this kind of crap constantly because I do watch a lot of like DIY and like
Sure.
maker stuff and things like that. So I get this like melted metal poured into a mold thing every single day, and then it happened in this episode, and I was like, Disney, are you in my DMs? Are you at my window?
I'm already a subscriber. You don't need to get on my feeds too.
Right. But essentially it was a fuse, right, that had corroded, gone bad.
Right.
And they made a new one, but didn't really make a new one. It was kind of like sticking a bolt in the fuse box just to hardline it, with no safeguard, but that got her back up and running.
Right.
It was really unsettling seeing how far that board goes in the back of her head.
Yeah.
You guys
For
a little
sure.
freaked?
Yeah, for sure.
So
It was almost like was it like post Lobot
Right.
technology? Was this like, was this a change of is this the updated version? Is this not totally modifier culture? Is this actually something completely different? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I'm with you. Like when that tray came out, I was like, yo, that's like to the back of her eyeballs. Like, what is going on?
Do you think they didn't go with the mod terminology because does that infer sort of that modification is
topical?
Voluntary?
Yeah.
Voluntary, I guess, is more the word, right?
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah, and there is a difference of like, if someone has like frostbite or got their face, something happened to their face, and you get like a cosmetic surgery, I guess you would call it, for different reasons. You know what I mean? I could see that for sure.
Yeah. I wonder. I doubt they'll get into how and why that exists.
I agree. It doesn't matter at this point.
It's still interesting to think about how it, what the Wikipedia article about that technology is going to be and how many links it's going to have in it, and will Lobot be in those links? Yeah.
And Jason had posted something in the Discord earlier about being like, Fern and her seem to have, was Fern driving a speeder bike and KB was on it, and was she in an accident that Fern's like, I owe her this, you know what I mean? Like there's something on there, and she mentioned an accident, right? So like something happened.
That's right.
Right. And in a world that seems like their planet is so seemingly self-contained, it makes it kind of seem like they were doing something maybe they shouldn't have done, or something happened, but it's curious, you know what I mean?
It's also interesting when you think about the time in which this happens in the Star Wars timeline, the technology prior to their having been cut off from the rest of the galaxy. This technology seems like it's so far ahead of others, like the mods and the and Lobot's stuff. But they also are this super rich planet, but they're cut off. But we'll find out whether or not the parents are still, someone's still communicating. Someone's still dealing with the outside world. So maybe they're super rich and they have all these resources and they have technology that's a little ahead because of that, even though they're hidden and they're disconnected.
Right.
Kind of Wakanda style, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
We don't do
I'm getting the vibe too. I don't remember which one of the creators said it, but I feel like there was a quote pretty recently that said they absolutely have a plan for like story-wise for season 2 and maybe even 3, they said. But I do wonder if this is going to be sort of a complete story with a couple of loose ends that if they don't get picked up, it's still a solid season, like there are mysteries here that I feel like with 2 episodes left, I don't really get the sense that they're going to squeeze them in, like exactly what At-Atten is or what, like.
Right.
I
the
agree.
things that like that are the adults are kind of into, I think that probably would come in like season 2 or 3. So
Right.
we'll see, because there's only 2 episodes left, and they have to, the kids got to get back with Jod somehow. They got to get home. Like
Right.
that's
They gotta
it.
get
It's gonna
triple
wrap up.
crossed. You know what I mean? Like we know
Yeah.
that we gotta hit this bingo card. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, well, speaking of Jod, when we get into that part, because
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So Jod's captured by Brutus and the pirates. He's put on trial. And Brutus sentences him to death by airlock, but then Jod's like, wait a minute, I get to plead my case, whatever he says.
No, he doesn't do that, right? I
Or
thought
no,
it was
someone else says,
yeah.
There's a woman next to him.
The,
Right.
the old lady from Orange is the New Black. That's all I
Oh,
know
is it?
her as. That's how I know her as.
No, we blew it.
No.
Says, according to pirate code, he should be able to appeal or say his piece, whatever. So Brutus flips the plasma hourglass, which I've already been all over the internet trying to find parts to make.
Raimi, find him out. Where is he? Someone's got to make this up. And it's glowing blue. It's awesome.
Couldn't you, in theory, Armor Party talk, couldn't you, in theory, have any glass or, acrylic cylinder like that, as long as it's open on the ends and you have an LED light on the edge, it should be able to shine through. And at that bottleneck point where the liquid actually is, you could have it blue and just have light coming through, and that would just illuminate that blue at the bottleneck, right?
Yeah, but why not just put an LED in the whole thing? You know what I mean? Like, why stop there? Why not just get some blue plasma, man? Just why stop there?
They've got blue plasma on Amazon, right?
Right.
Anyway, you can get fill your own hourglasses all day long on the internet. So go out there and do it. So Jod says he can take them to the real treasure, essentially. TLDR.
I did like too when before this, when they were still at the spa there, he pops out with like all treasure on him, but then so does SM-33. That was great.
Yeah, right. I think the part that if we look in and kind of go back to the past couple episodes, Jod has no real interest in pursuing the kids. I think that's also important, right? Like he knows that he's basically, he can't get off the planet without the pirates, right? And I think what was important about it was that there's a massive respect for him, for Silvo, because we've seen that reference now a couple of times where it's like, I'd go anywhere with you, Silvo, whatever. Like that was kind of that mentality. And he was kind of like vying for that, kind of for asking for that power to man, just remember that we were doing this stuff, right? And so I don't think that Brutus, I mean, he even like says to Brutus, like, he's like, oh, he's gonna make a first great mate. I'm like, bro, you just called the werewolf a first mate. Like you're already referring to yourself as a captain. I'm like, that's so bold. But like it does seem like he's like looking over and like having personal mode. He's like, you remember, you were hungry, weren't you? You know what I mean? Like, so it seems like the crew are they going to mutiny against Brutus? And that's how we get this, is that how we get this break where Jod has to pick up the kids or whenever this happens? Like, I think there's going to be like a pirate mutiny amongst the crew.
Yeah.
It seems like it's leading to that.
And ultimately he knows how to get to Atten, but he's going to need the kids again.
Yeah, like they're meeting back on the planet, right?
Yeah, he can't just show up and be like, all right, let's take this treasure. Like, he's got to have some kind of angle, and the kids are his only contact point right now, so that would be the first place to start.
SM-33 has the coordinates too, right? Isn't SM-33 and KB both have them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, right, he can get there, but in terms of, like, once he arrives, how's he going to rob the planet, essentially?
Sure.
He needs an angle, whether it's, taking the kids hostage or just using, trying to triple cross them, making up like everything's cool. Let me meet your parents. Oh, it's funny you work here. You're coming with me. Take me to the treasure. Take me to the bank. You know what I mean?
We could not get the triple cross, and maybe the crew, like Silvo's crew that basically have him captured, put Silvo in danger, and the kids are like, we got to save him. that sort of thing.
I like
So we could
that.
actually not get a triple cross. That
I
could be
like
another instance.
Just a redemption once they save
Interesting.
him. Yeah.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Well, the kids are going to get there in absolute shiny, pristine style with their new ship that has shedded
Yeah.
skin. The hull gets blown off. Chekhov's gun. The mention at the beginning. Here's what. Can I just complain for a second?
Sure.
I need to start skipping the previously on section for anything that I actually pay attention to, that I watch on a regular basis, because we've been waiting for this button to be pressed that he says don't ever press that under any circumstances, right? Since the second episode. But I didn't want to be reminded of it at the beginning, like, just so you know, there's a button they're not supposed to press.
Then there was
be relevant.
There was another instance though, because they showed Renaud's hollow, or they said, I have the ship clad in armor. I was like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little much. But so they planted that seed earlier in the season, reminded us, and then here it is, Chekhov's gun. It's been fired. It's been used. It was there for a reason. But conceptually, so there was this additional layer of armor shielding like a secondary hull that also had thrusters on it, like the forward thrusters.
I'm assuming
it gets peeled off.
I'm assuming if we're kind of in this mode of going, like, if you add all this weight to it, it becomes heavier and it needs additional engines.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you kind of think about it from a standpoint of going, like, if we make it heavier, it still needs to be fast. But the same way that, like, a pirate ship, the bigger and heavier you make it, it needs more sails. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I looked at it.
Or like stages of a rocket.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. This is stage 1, 2, 3, the boosters, right? They release as they go off. So I think what's cool about that though is, like, it's a damn good looking ship. And I like the fact that it got pirated, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like pirated over time, like they just kept adding stuff to it. Or the other thing is, like, let's say he makes the big break and then brings it to a, shipyard and goes, I'm a little on the run. I would like for you to make this not look like the ship that just robbed one of the Old Republic mints. That would be great. But I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool, the idea that, like, this pure form was not good enough for pirating, so they had to make it worse and destroyed, and almost kind of, it's like reverse Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, it also, when you look at the two compared here, I'll actually put this up here. When you look at the two compared side by side.
Oh, here we go. Spoiler alert.
I don't have a true side by side, but I do have them back to back. So here's the circumcised one, and
it's true.
Here's the original.
Yeah.
We don't have the front of it, but the front of it has that, like, cow catcher on an old train /
yes.
twister mobile kind of look to it.
Yep.
How it's angled so it can be low and take fire, and it also kind of, it has like Mad Max vibes. Like,
100%.
You take an old truck, you put heavy steel all over it, and those angles that are made to deflect shit.
Right.
And I mean, look at it underneath. How nice that is. It's a completely pristine. It looks like Dan Beskar. It's great. But that thing's fast.
It's like leaving a Star Wars toy in the box.
The Nubian cruiser. That's nice. I think what's really cool about this is, of course, like, I had, like, in one of the chats with one of my friends, he's like, well, my Lego doesn't do that. And I'm like, you bought it. Everyone knows you can't buy the ship before it comes out. Something's going to happen to it.
There's going to be a mod. There's somebody. What's the
Bricklink or whatever.
Somebody's going to do a version.
But I mean, in terms of, like, a Star Wars ship, I mean, this thing is awesome. It looks incredibly Star Wars. They did a great job with it. It's got that, whether, pick your poison, right? It's got X-Wing-ish vibe to it. It looks
feels familiar.
It does. It feels so familiar. I think it looks awesome. It almost kind of reminds me of I mean, I guess, and the whole thing is, like, are we still considering this? Was this an Old Republic ship, or was this, at what time was this? Because
Jobs.
Well, it's true.
Could be true Old Republic and not just High Republic.
Yeah, yeah. Because Jod talks about it like it's a legendary ship, right? But like, that like well kept ships can stay afloat for
Centuries.
Yeah.
It also reminds me a little bit of what's his name ship, Andor.
The Fondor Hallcraft.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
a little bit. Yeah. All right, you guys want to get into the Den of Antiquities?
Yes.
For over 1,000 generations.
It is the dark saber.
Oh gosh.
It's a Kalikori.
A Sith wayfinder.
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
Mike,
the Den of Antiquities.
take us in.
Skeleton Crew. It's deep. It's wide. You'll like it.
Do you practice these voices in the mirror, or do you just like nail them right away?
This one, like, I feel like SM33 is like the same. Like when we really talk like a pirate, like that's just naturally. Like I feel like this was almost so funny at how like piratey it was.
Yeah.
It just
Very on the nose.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Dude, did we hold on? Did we talk about at any point when we were doing Clone Wars or Rebels, Hondo's voice had been heard? Hondo's voice was out there in the world.
Correct. As Pete the dog from Disney? Oh, okay.
Madagascar 2, maybe?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Which was the same year that Hondo debuted.
Oh, nice.
The lead reindeer. It was a Madagascar Christmas movie.
Okay,
whatever.
Sure.
This is my phone into the microphone, so this might not work. But
Can you give us a ride? Oh, son of the gun! We're only allowed to take orders from Santa. Why don't you ask your South Pole comrades to help? Whoops! I forget. They can't fly. Merry Christmas down there.
Yeah, that's just Hondo Ohnaka.
that is just Hondo Ohnaka.
Is it actually the voice actor?
Yeah.
Same dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the job I need.
That's right.
I need to be like H. John Benjamin, like
Right.
I got the one voice. All right. Just hire me for everything. I got the one voice.
Phrasing.
I got the one voice and it happens to be my voice.
You get the voice. You get the voice. You get the
Exactly.
voice.
Yeah, exactly. Den of Antiquities. Let's get back on track, gentlemen. Get it together.
Hey, that counts. Am I wrong?
It does. It does. When Jod comes up out of the manhole with all the gold and jewels hanging off him, he runs into the hotel staff and a few other guests. Now, one of them, of course, is our friend John Rodriguez from the Dad Batch, who was in the Mon Cala with the lei around his neck. John, very excited about that. But one of the other guests is an alien, which is the same species as singer Ubla Marlboro, first seen in Star Wars The Last Jedi inside of the Canto Bight Casino. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. Which do I look at? My eyes are up here.
So bogus.
It's just fantastic. So I like that there's, we've got references to Solo in this show as far as the prop goes. We have The Last Jedi. This show is really kind of a holiday special. This show is a real treat for people who pay attention to this stuff. So I think this was awesome. Something else that you've been, we've talked about this before, but Captain Renaud, his name is a portmanteau. Is this how you were calling it?
Yeah.
Okay. Of Richard Donner, the filmmaker who directed Superman, Lethal Weapon series, and most importantly to this skeleton crew, The Goonies. So Renaud backwards is Donner. Nice little treat right there. Now, let's talk a little bit about this monstrosity that exists here down in Battle World. The giant mother crab that KB and Wim run into. Her official species names seems to be Megapargus detriforus. Her name, of course, being
Detritivores.
Detritivores. I'm not good at this stuff. I chose.
You're great. You're doing great.
Okay. I'm trying so hard here. Tetanus, the name, the mama crab. And we know this from Tippett Studio, which actually did stop motion, old school style, baby, on this crab.
It looked so cool, dude. It was so subtle. This characteristic stop motion look,
Sure.
but it was so satisfying and like gave me the warm and fuzzies, you know?
Heavy, chunky. It was awesome. And what's really cool about this, we can, yeah, here we go. We got some shots.
Yeah, get into it a little.
We're going to talk to someone later about it. What's really amazing about this, though, is that the Easter eggs on this particular mama crab, on Tetanus herself, is that these are a lot of Star Wars model parts, things from actual Star Wars to make it look like this crab has just been accumulating parts on her shell. And you can see that there's little R2 units. There's parts of the Millennium Falcon. Here's an R2 unit here. You can see a protocol droid. All of these little details are packed. There we go. There's the reflector dish.
There we go.
It's so cool. So like the fact that they chose to do this on a model, of course, this is just taking that's without the head, but this is taking something straight out of Jon Favreau's playbook where he goes, well, if you want to keep it, you got to build it and make it for the show so that you get to keep it after. So you can see that there's certainly an organic element underneath, but the back of the crab has been gathering and accumulating with a lot of familiar parts here.
Hermit crab.
Yeah,
style,
basically.
like all of them.
Right.
Yeah. It's the coolest part to me is this. Well, we'll talk to someone who worked on, not on this directly, but on the whole miniature set, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get some insights, hopefully, on what I imagine to be like one of the most fun ways to build, which is kit bashing, and this is like the ultimate kit bash.
Right.
Just taking parts from everything and just throwing it in the salad and mixing it up.
Yeah.
It looks so fun.
The trash grab, and then of course the babies, right, are like actually made of little parts, and you can
each
see
individual one. Yeah,
there's a protocol droid's foot, like one of them. I was like, that's a C-3PO foot. I know that for sure. Also on YouTube, between Amaranth and Brent and a lot of people, how do I say this? Detritus.
Something like that.
How the heck do I say it? Would someone spell this out for me? It literally means trash. So this is just a fun little play with words here.
So the cool part is that it's like, and it seems to be an invented species name.
Yep.
That uses some of the same suffixes and prefixes as actual crab species.
Right.
So like, I had this up. Detrivorous
okay.
is an actual what is this? Hold on. A detrivore is something that obtains nutrients from decomposing plant and animal parts.
Detritus
and feces. So
sure, yeah. Finding parts of your this would be
so this is a play on that. And then the Pegasus part of it, mega, is what they added to it because of the size.
Sure.
Crabs and other similar crustaceans and things. What do you call them? Crustaceans isn't the word. Where's physics buddy Joe? We need science help.
Right.
Yeah, they were smart about this name. This has meaning. Like this is the kind, like every scientist who gets to name a species or a star or something gets to have fun with a name. There aren't like hard and fast rules, but there are like themes and what do you call it? Customs and things.
Yeah.
That they try to adhere to, and it's like they did the same thing with the real model or with the model in this show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, I think we'll talk to someone about this later. But it's super cool to just see this level of detail go into something like this, because I think this show is hitting all of the right beats. Right, practical models. They talk about all of the directors really enjoying using physical characters. I mean, it's not to say that they couldn't have just replaced Neil Avatar style, right? Where like
Right.
he was never there in suit, but you can see that he's in the suit as often as they can have him in the suit, which I think adds to
Yeah.
it. So the fact that they just went this extra level to have Tippett Studios brought back in, which I think for a lot of people who are curious of the importance of Tippett Studios, is Phil Tippett was the original stop motion artist for all of Star Wars. I mean, everything that you love about the original trilogy and the way that the AT-ATs walk to the ATSTs, it's all Phil Tippett. So this is a really cool throwback to people being a fan of how films are made, and also specifically Star Wars. Very cool. So that was.
I actually, sorry to cut you off.
Are you going to translate it for us?
I'll translate a little bit, but also I can say, so we're going to have Kate Sabaker, our friend Kate,
Okay,
on,
sure.
who
All right, cool.
who works at Tippett Studio and worked not on the crab itself, but on the miniature model that the crab is on, the mountain there. And so we'll get to talk to her about what that process was like, what she did specifically. And right here, there's a little plate on the back of the crab that has the names of everybody who worked on the crab itself in Arabesh. You can see Tippett right there at the top. There's looks like Roger or something there. It's it's like really shallow focus, so you can't really read much of it. But this seems to be like a tradition at Tippett, at least, because the what do you call it? The AT-AT looking like trash grabbing walker from Mando, the planet that Bill Burr was on.
Yep.
That also has Arabesh all over it that says Tippett and all kinds of other stuff.
Sure.
So that's fun. I got to see that in person when Kate took me on a tour there sometime last year. I don't remember when it was because time. But
the flat circle, right?
The thing I can say, which I couldn't say before, is I didn't get to see the crab itself because it's a spoiler, right? So like Disney said no, because they have to say someone's coming in for a tour. What can they see? What can't they? That's standard stuff with anything, right?
They had to move the crab because of you, Adam.
They literally had to move the crab because I was coming in the damn building. But I got to walk up and look at the surface of this mountain kind of thing up close, and Kate showed me all the things, and a couple of the other artists that were there got to chat for a little bit. And then I went and toured the rest of the building, and then on the way out, they had started working again and pulled the curtains almost closed, but not fully closed. And out of the corner of my eye, as we passed by, I got a little peek, and I saw what I thought was a spider or something.
Sure. But
caught a glimpse of this. And overall, I can tell you the thing, like, there's probably some pictures where, I guess the one with Doug Chang, you get a sense of the scale, but maybe that's... I don't know if...
It's hefty. I mean,
think it's bigger than this. I could be... Maybe... I don't know if this is the real one or just a mock-up, but...
They show then that little featurette they have on YouTube where they show about the practical effects of Skeleton Crew. You can see them actually setting. Yeah, you can see them setting it by hand with people actually
moving around in the time lapse.
That I think the one that you're looking at of Doug looking at it, I think that is to scale. Okay. So that whole thing is. That's pretty big. Because look at the one tentacle on or a pincher. Look how big his hand is compared to that. So that's pretty big.
True, and the wide angle lens and his head being closer, it throws off the scale. So it's not small.
Yep. Sweet.
Super sweet. Anyway, so we're stoked to have Kate on and talk about that for sure.
Yeah. And also just an appreciation for the fact that they're doing this. We talked about it a little bit. It's been kind of sad behind the scenes of looking at Manhattan Beach Studios. People are leaving because there's nothing being filmed there. Ahsoka season 2 is being filmed overseas. So Nick, I don't know what the conversation has been like, at least in your camp, but there's a lot of people who are like, dude,
no more Star Wars.
Hollywood is there is a concern right now. And so when I look at even the drastic change between, the ship is basically pulling a solo move right out of the maw, right? And it's this crazy intense CGI spectacle, which is fine. Also fine. We need it for Star Wars at this point. But I love the fact that they still said, let's make something here in California and let's build it film it, do everything we can, employ people, have artists do what they did. And I was telling Kate, the sense around Tippett Studio is very much like, as long as our people are taken care of, we just want to make stuff because it looks cool. Like there is nothing about in this model right here that they had to go this hard because it didn't translate on screen to that point that like you would have to sit there and freeze frame this thing. It was so massive in terms of the scale that like you could definitely see like that side looks like a side port of the Falcon, but like all these little tiny details in here, like you're not going to see any of those. But the fact that like they chose to do that, that's a labor of love. You know what I mean? It absolutely is. And I think that's amazing. I think that Star Wars needs to be doing that. Right. So there's Star Wars needs to be made by people who are creative, and I don't know.
And who love it and care.
Who love it and care. That's that's where I think Skeleton Crew has been such an awesome thing for all of this. So yeah.
We love it. We love it. All right, let's get wrapped up here. We have no bingo card hits this week because we suck.
Dang it.
But maybe, Nick, if we learn more about the ship, at first Mike and I were both like, pre-High Republic? But you could be spot on, man. So we'll see. We'll see about that with the ship. We haven't been doing I Love You, I Know. You know, we used to go super hard and every week, every episode of everything, do a favorite scene, a favorite moment, whatever. Let's do a season wrap up, and we'll do patrons' favorite episode, favorite scenes, and we'll do the usual voting and everything for favorite episodes and so on.
There.
But for now, we'll hold. I would like to ask one thing of listeners, viewers. If you can't be a patron, feel like you can't spend a few bucks a month, all good. We're happy for you to listen and enjoy the show, and we hope you get something good out of it. If you could, though, be so kind as to rate and or review us on whatever you consume this on, comment, share, like, subscribe, the usual, that would be great.
It does
because
help.
The algorithms are getting really dumb the past year or so, and everybody's kind of talking it in creator communities that rely on social media and YouTube and stuff like that. It's so hard to actually reach your followers and for followers to get the content from the people that they follow without going directly into their subscriber list or whatever. You know, it's like you look at a post that actually gets some traction, and the majority of it is people that don't even follow your account. It's annoying. So, in the interest of sharing Star Wars stuff, if this podcast is of any value to you, if you enjoy it at all, please share it. If you follow us on social media, share our stuff in your stories, subscribe, rate, and review, just so other people can find it, and it helps cut through this strange place, this strange mess of algorithmic bullshit that we're in right now with all these platforms. That's all.
Wild space.
We're
cut through the fray.
That's what I meant to say.
Sure, right.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Chop them down, the whole lot of them.
All right, we're wrapping up. You guys got anything before we go?
Mosh Isley.
Look at the shirt that Mike made.
Oh my gosh, look at that. It's nice. It's really nice. So I think for people who, there's been a lot that we've been throwing between ornament and all this other stuff. But we're like in a month.
36 days from today.
Mosh Isley's coming to MegaCon. We have a lot of people that have reached out and said we're super excited. Let's go. It's kind of Empire themed. It's got this, if you're feeling the same way that a lot of people are feeling, it's like let's go Rage Against the Machine. It'll be super fun. And our friend Dion from Anne Berlin is guest DJing. And we got
incoming bass player alert.
Right. Incoming bass players, right? Tight jeans, big bass, all the stuff we like to see. So we've got a couple friends that are coming. We got a couple other surprises. It'll be very cool, but it's a great time. It's a great venue. Working with a couple other friends that I don't know if we're allowed to talk about yet, but it's going to be a great time. Nick, what else you got for it?
For Mosh, Well, we'll tell you this. Hey, Mike, I need you to make some graphics that we're going to end the pre-sale bundles pretty soon.
Right.
So, because we have to get the bundles made. So, if you haven't ordered your pre-order merch bundle, please do that soon.
MoshIsley.com. Get all the stuff you need, and we will make sure to get it to you. But it's a great time. MegaCon's pretty stacked. There's some great guests there, which should be fun. And I don't know. I feel like I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge in a while. I would like to go.
You should.
I'll be on East Coast Batu in like 2 weeks.
Jelly.
Yeah,
very jelly.
I haven't been here. I haven't been to West Coast Batu since before, early December maybe. But yeah, I'm going to meet my family out for my nephew's first birthday in Orlando.
Wholesome.
Say what's
stuff.
up to him. I hope he says what's up back. Also,
what's up?
We're bringing someone officially onto the Thank the Maker team, which
is he here in this room right now?
He is, but let's save it because he doesn't have a camera or a real mic, and I'm sure he's like,
please don't.
My real camera mic, don't do that right now.
Especially as an audio guy, it's just you're really sweating him right here.
Yeah. So we'll do it next week, so he can get all set up and I don't know, braid his hair or whatever he's going to do.
So they can do it,
and it's going to be fun. We're talking about new stuff. It's going to be it is exciting, and it's going to be cool. So we will see you next week for the penultimate episode of Skeleton Crew. And until then, may the Force be with you. If you enjoy Thank the Maker, you can support us by following and leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Or you can support us directly at patreon.com/thankthemakerpod, where you can get access to our Discord server, exclusive content, exclusive merch, our recording live stream, and more. Our patrons quite literally make Thank the Maker possible.